Cesar, they've been confusing days for Chelsea, but you must be delighted to come through that tonight.
Yes, of course. It has not been a normal last few weeks, but we have to deal with it's in our hands, which is train the best we can, be ready for the games. We are coming, we are playing every 3 days, difficult games. We know how difficult is the Champions League, and tonight it was a difficult game. So, of course, we are happy to go through and to win the game.
And your goal wrapped it up, kneed it in nicely. It was beautifully done.
I just put the leg and I went with my knee. Of course I'm happy. It's not I'm not very used to score goals. So obviously the winning goal and to go through to the quarterfinals.
I think the last Champions League goal was against Lille 2.5 years ago. So
yeah.
Happy memories.
It was.
But after the penalty, you had to stand up to some pressure, didn't you, in that first half?
I think the first half we didn't start very well. I think they were very active. They had a lot of time to prepare the game. We knew that it was going to be difficult. Sometimes we play in the spaces. Sometimes we made as well a few mistakes. So we allowed them to counter-attacks. They are dangerous, but I think the reaction after the penalty was good. We scored before half-time, and
perfect timing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Perfect. It was the right time, because if you go 1-0 down at half-time, we knew that the second half would be very difficult.
Yeah, it felt a very different game coming out for the second half. But after the run of results that pretty impressive, you could have found plenty of excuses and reasons not to play well, this Chelsea side, but no sign of that at all.
That's not us. This group fights against everything. We know that we have to do the best we can on the pitch. That's what we do. We have our fans here. We are all together, we stick together in the difficult times, and hopefully we end up having a very good season. And
when a club and when the squad are in a difficult situation, it can also bring players even closer together, can't it?
Yeah, and that also the case of players not playing. It's everything outside the noise. That sometimes it could be maybe easier to just let it go, lose the focus, but as I said before, that's not us. We do everything we can that we have in our hands, and from there we have to keep playing every 3 days, difficult games, and hopefully have a good end of the season.
You're champions, that's motivation enough, isn't it? Hold on to that ground.
It is, of course.
Thank you, Cesar.
Thank you.
This could happen here. Lille were in the ascendancy, but Chelsea have a calmness about them. Stems from the manager, stems from the middle of the park, and they just gradually fought them well. When you're not playing well, you have to fight yourself back into the game, and eventually a little bit of quality, and that was the difference.
It was the difference, and you kind of got the impression not only were they calm, as Joe said, but also that moment of quality where you felt like if they needed to do something, they would do, and just before half-time, you got the impression that they were like, come on, let's deliver.
I think they just showed you that if you step off of us and give us space, especially in and around our box, we will punish you. And it was the first time in that first half that they didn't actually put pressure on the ball, because they pressed really well as a team throughout the first half. But you see as the ball gets recycled and it comes back into the central area, Jorginho takes a touch here. Too much space, too much time. It's a fabulous ball to get it through where he did with the outside of his foot. Guided it through beautifully. It's a great run as well, by the way, inside the full-back. And he dispatches it beautifully. A tight angle.
Yeah. Probably the first time, isn't it, that Lille weren't in a good enough shape to be able to get out and press the ball. They dropped a little bit too deep. They got a little bit stretched on the switch of play, and then that allowed for, when it did get switched, the ball back into Jorginho to just find that slide pass. And it's probably the first time in a half that a player tried to stretch the back line of Lille, and Pulisic did that, and then he was founded behind. It was a perfect pass and a great run, and tucked it away.
I remember sitting with you two actually when we were at Stamford Bridge for the first leg, and both of you were just saying Lille just haven't got the quality, but actually tonight they were much better than
much better. Like I said, it wasn't necessarily Chelsea weren't at it, it was that Lille were on it, and there was a few clips early on where they were pressing up, and they had 8 or 9 players in the final third putting it right on Chelsea. Getting at Alonso, they're athletic. You see, they showed glimpses tonight of the team that won the league. That had gone close there. Yilmaz again, he was a forward in the side. Bamba, I mean, he's an absolute nightmare for Alonso all day because he's jinky, he goes both ways. Yilmaz has been out of the frame for a lot of the time after being top scorer last year, coming back in again. Short corner delivered. That was a key moment in the game. Massive. If he dispatches that, then this game gets very, very interesting. I think that was the moment in the game where Chelsea took a breath, went, right, let's impose ourselves now, otherwise it's going to get too close to the mark. And then they started coming into the game more, but that was a crucial moment.
OK, who wants to analyse the finish from Azpilicueta?
Listen, it was a great finish in the end. I think we looked at him for where's that come off? I thought it was an own goal when I first saw it. But just this talk about the cross from Mason Mount, by the way, he's come on as a sub, impacted the game. Runs off people there. They don't go out and get close to him. If you don't get out to people, that's the second goal that they've scored when you don't get out to people, when they've got that type of quality. Here again, he sees the situation, reads it well, off his weaker foot left side, but doesn't matter. Hits the perfect corridor of doubt for goalkeepers and defenders in that area. And this finish here off his knee, he means this, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, we was talking about it, when we watched the replay back, and I just think the way that he plants his left foot and then gets his body over, I think any part of the outside of his body then it makes contact with and goes in. Okay, granted, he didn't mean to go in and knee it in the back of the net, but I think the way he shapes up for it, it allows for him to hit any part of his body for the ball to go in the back of the net.
I think Farah's being very kind.
I think so. I think his approach to it, I think it gives him a chance. I think if he's got an open body, it goes straight past him.
Yeah, no, you listen, it's one of them. You take them when they come.
Left foot stamped down and then he gets his body over it.
Bang. Listen, if it's Harry Kane, he's meant it. Do you know what I mean? But Cesar will be happy with that. But he was excellent all night.
Let's find out, because he's talking to Des. So hopefully we can get the answer to that question. All yours, Des.
Who can be in Arsenal midfield against Liverpool? Lock-on? And with Xhaka's ridiculous red card against Liverpool having a 2-game ban, Elneny and Partey away playing in the African Cup of Nations, and Maitland-Niles recently left for Roma, we are left with very few options in midfield. Is Sambi Lokonga our solution, and is he ready to step up in the first team? The 22-year-old Belgium international transferred to Arsenal in the summer for a reported £18 million from Anderlecht, where he came from their youth academy. Having captained his former team, Sambi clearly has important leadership qualities, something that we will be lacking in the midfield without Xhaka. Last season we ranked 14th for progressive passes, and it seems that Arteta signed Sambi to help fix this issue. He was ranked second in the Belgium league for passes completed per 90 minutes. We saw a glimpse of this at the start of the season as he gained 13 PL appearances this season. For off the bench, I really enjoyed the way he looked up immediately when playing, driving the team forward. But I do wonder if he is physical enough to play as a box-to-box midfielder regularly in the Prem, especially against the top 6, and without the stronger Partey to help shield him. With a big semi-final against Liverpool, I worry he will get out-muscled by Fabinho in the centre of the park. He only lasted 53 minutes against Klopp's men earlier this season, and was very poor, but did seem to be better against them in last week's 0-0 draw. He even admitted himself that he struggled to adapt to the quality of the Premier League, and that he does now believe it's the best league in the world in his latest Arsenal interview. I also am frustrated at the management of transfers, bearing in mind we have Maitland-Niles, AMN, Guendouzi and Torreira all on loan who would be able to help fill this void. Yet there has been talk of even Ben White playing as a defensive midfielder in the semi-final second leg. So, what's the solution? Arthur Melo would be a great signing for the club. At only 25, a 6-month loan deal could massively help our push for top 4 and add quality in midfield. However, it is a tricky transfer as Juventus would need to arrange a replacement, rumored to be Bruno Guimaraes from Lyon, who are known to be difficult in negotiations. With under 2 weeks left on the window, time is running out. We now face Liverpool and Burnley with only Sambi in midfield along with possibly Aziz, recalled from a disappointing loan at Portsmouth, or a very young Patino to play alongside him. Who would you play in midfield against Liverpool? Odegaard? Aziz? White? Patino? Until next time, Gooners. Report: Arsenal will make £308,000 a week contract offer to 21-year-old in next 48 hours. Arsenal appear to be working incredibly hard to try and sign Dusan Vlahovic this month. The Gunners have been heavily linked with the Fiorentina star in recent weeks. No surprise really. Vlahovic is one of the best and most highly sought-after youngsters in world football. In addition, the Gunners will certainly need to snap up a new striker this year. Alexander Lacazette and Eddie Nketiah are both out of contract in the summer. But now, a report from La Nazione claims Arsenal are going all out to land Vlahovic in the January transfer window. The Italian outlet claims the Gunners will make a £59 million bid for the Serbia international in the next 48 hours. And that's not all. Arsenal are apparently ready to make Vlahovic